Hello YouTube and welcome back to week 9 of the NFL season. Today we're going to be going over the top 10 plays under 5% on the main Sunday slate. You know, in these large field tournaments, as I say every single week, you got to separate yourself from the field and get some leverage by playing some low-owned plays. It's very often that you see like 1 to 4 sub 5% owned guys in those like Millie Maker winning lineups. You know, if you're playing some cash games and some smaller field tournaments, you don't have to play the really low-owned plays. You still got to get different, but this is specifically for those large field tournaments. Usually my sub 5% owned plays mostly come at the wide receiver position, as that is the position that offers the most upside and has the highest ceiling. So usually I have a couple of the other positions, but most of them are going to come at the receiver. But you know, starting at the quarterback position, we are going to get Patrick Mahomes at well, last time I checked, it looks like his projected ownership was right like a smidge under 5%. And anytime I'm able to play Patrick Mahomes, I was really hoping, you know, Aaron Rodgers could have played this, so this would have been more of a shootout. But I still think Mahomes is going to do his thing this game. It makes sense why people are not playing him as much this week, because, you know, the last few games, he just hasn't looked right, and the Chiefs just haven't looked right. But no one would be surprised if Patrick Mahomes goes out this week, throws 4 or 5 touchdowns, maybe rushes for a touchdown, has 400 yards passing. Like, nobody would be surprised, I think, if that happened. And I'm not going to be the guy that doesn't play Patrick Mahomes, especially when he's very low owned. You know, and that brings me, since we're talking about Mahomes, my only sub 5% owned tight end play that I like is Travis Kelce. So, like, the fact that you're going to be able to get both Kelce and Mahomes right around 5% is extremely, extremely good. You get some great leverage on the field with that. I think Tyreek will be popular this week. He'll definitely be a high-owned receiver. So, you know, paying Patrick Mahomes to Kelce is amazing leverage off of people playing Tyreek. You know, I'll still have some Mahomes and Tyreek lineups, but playing Kelce is, you're going to get more tournament leverage than playing Tyreek. There's no plays at the running back position that I like that are sub 5%. There's just absolutely nothing that I like. Running back is usually the position that I'll play the chalk on. So like I like a lot of these more expensive guys like Eckler. You know, if McCaffrey plays, I'll have a little of him and Dalvin and all that. That's where I'm going to be at running back this week. Now let's get into kind of the core of the sub 5% owned plays, and that's at the receiver position. So my first one I have is going to be Justin Jefferson. So going against the Ravens, you know, I'm not sure if it'll be him or Thielen that sees like Marlon Humphrey, but either way, we saw what Jamar Chase did to him, went for over 200 yards. And Justin Jefferson is still one of the elite receivers in the league. A lot of people that play DFS have a lot of recency bias, so they, you know, will check game logs and see that, okay, well, in his last couple games, he had 4 targets for only 2 receptions, and then the week before that, he had 14 targets, but he didn't catch a touchdown. He went 8 for 80. You know, it was early in the year that he kind of had his better games, and now people are going to be off of him this week, and I'd like to be on him there. I think the Ravens win this game, so the Vikings should be playing from behind, throwing the ball. That brings me also to Adam Thielen as well. It seems like both of these guys are going to be under 5% owned this week. I don't want to play Kirk Cousins, however, because I never like playing Kirk Cousins. I don't think he has the upside to win you a tournament, but I will be sprinkling in just playing Thielen and rotating him and Jefferson in my lineups. Thielen is getting really expensive now at $6,900. I definitely prefer Justin Jefferson for what, like only $600 more. Yeah, that's what I prefer. You know, we've seen players all year long have great games against the Ravens defense. I don't think you should be afraid of playing anybody on the Vikings. You know, Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, you know, all solid plays. The next receiver that I like is going to be, I have him on this thing every week. He's lower than 5% owned every single week. He had a bad game last week, but that's fine. You know, we're 8 weeks into the season, and he's had at least 2 tournament winning weeks. Not many receivers are any player in the league have had weeks where they've been in tournament winning lineups with that kind of upside more than 1 week. And Mike Williams has done it at least 2 times. So whenever you can get a player like that at under 5% owned, you got to consider him. Philly's actually been pretty good at limiting wide receivers, and especially receivers like Williams. They kind of give it up more to the short field and to running backs. So I think like Eckler is a really good play this week. But we've seen what Mike Williams can do, and he could always just blow past the defender and catch a long one and blow the slate wide open and where you need to have him. So I'll definitely have some of Mike Williams, but I won't play a ton of him. He'll just kind of be, maybe I'll play him like 3 or 4%, which could be like triple or quadruple what the field has. The next receiver, we got Hopkins, another play that I seem to mention every single week. And as long as he's under 5% owned, he's going to be in these videos because when you can get a talent like Hopkins at super low ownership, once again, you gotta have a little bit of exposure. I know he's been dealing with that hamstring injury, and that's also what lowers his ownership. But AJ Green should be out, and a lot of times these Cardinals receivers all go super low owned because no one knows who to play. There's Kirk, there's James Conner, there's Edmonds, there's like Rondale Moore. There's just so many guys, and they spread this ball around so much that people just forget about the Cardinals and they play other guys. But we've seen the Cardinals have big games, and we've seen Christian Kirk have tournament-winning weeks. Rondale Moore's been in a tournament winner. AJ Green might have even been. So these guys have upside. It just kind of rotates through them. But I want to be on Hopkins when he's low-owned. And going against San Francisco, they have Josh Norman. Like, if Hopkins is healthy, there's nobody in the secondary that can stop him. So I'm going to have some Hopkins. Now, Kyler Murray is dealing with this like ankle sprain thing, and if he's a no-go, then I probably will take Hopkins out and won't play him because Colt McCoy would be in there, and I'm not playing people with Colt McCoy. So Hopkins, and then that actually, my next receiver is Christian Kirk. So how I mentioned, most of the Cardinals receivers go under-owned. Christian Kirk will as well. Christian Kirk should see more targets as well with AJ Green being out. So I think just sprinkling in these Cardinals receivers in this high-powered offense is definitely a strong way to get different from the field and gain some leverage. My next play I do like quite a bit. He is a little expensive, but that's why people will probably be off of him, and it's Emmanuel Sanders. Going against this Jacksonville defense, this Jacksonville team, they could be the worst team in the league. Like, it's kind of like a fight between the Lions and the Jags, and well, I guess you have to throw the Jets in there. Even though the Jets beat the Bengals, they're still bad. I don't know. This Jacksonville team just could be the worst. We just saw Geno Smith just torch this team. DK Metcalf and Lockett both had amazing games. I included both of them in my top 10 plays under 5% last week because of how bad this Jacksonville defense is. I think Emmanuel Sanders, all these Bills guys are in play, but like Diggs and Beasley will be higher owned than Sanders. So he's just some leverage off of those two guys. But I'm going to play a ton of Josh Allen this week. I'll have a lot of Diggs, but because Sanders is good leverage off of them, I want to load up on Sanders this week as well. So I've kind of talked about the more expensive receivers that are going to be low owned, like the Jeffersons and the Hopkins and Mike Williams and Thielen, those guys. And those are usually your stronger leverage because, one, they're just better football players, and two, they just have much higher ceilings. So those are usually the best way to get leverage is fading the chalkier expensive receivers and pivoting onto the lower owned guys that are expensive. But there's always some like cheaper guys that you have to consider as well that are gonna be low owned, and this guy is gonna burn me, I think, every single week, and it's just like I'm in so deep on him. I feel like I just have to keep playing him until he hits his ceiling. And I think he's a better play when Christian McCaffrey is in. So I hope McCaffrey plays because, then New England, I think, will focus on taking McCaffrey out, and they might give it up more to DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. I have to have Robbie Anderson in here. This guy, I swear, I played him and I made 150 lineups, and I think I had him in like close to 100 of them. And this guy he went from having 11, 7, 11, and 9 targets to only 1 target, and that 1 target, he just got absolutely demolished by a defender, and it just took him out of the game. So, yeah, that's how my Sunday went this past week. But, at his price tag, what you want out of the cheap players at their price tag is just a type of player that can catch a long one or 2 long ones and end up in a tournament winner. With Sterling Shepard being out, with Galladay possibly being out again, this play is kind of contingent on Galladay actually being out, because then Ross will be the wide receiver 3. You'll have Tony, Slayton, and John Ross. And at 3,200, he catches 1 long touchdown and he pays off his salary. And that's all you're looking for. And going against the Raiders have a decent defense, but I don't know, the Raiders are going through a lot of stuff right now. I actually think the Giants just flat out win this game. With Saquon coming back, it sounds like as long as his ankles go, he'll be in there. That helps John Ross, in my opinion, because they can't just bring all their defenders back, because then Saquon's just going to eat them in the short field. So I just think Ross at 3,200 is just a nice little value pump play right there. That about wraps this video up. I hope you guys found some good leverage, some low-owned plays in here. If you guys could please leave a like, comment your favorite sub 5% owned play, and subscribe. It helps out the channel a ton. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the top stacks of the week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.